Welcome to the Rainier Rumble Rallycross in Enumclaw.
Yes, this is our first time at this venue, and so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about getting there. We are running in the overflow parking lot of the Enumclaw Expo and Event Center. So if you were to map to the address of the expo, you will actually be entering a parking lot a quarter of a mile south and on the west side of the street. You all should have in your inboxes right now a competitor email with a map telling you where to go. We'll do our best to mark it out with some cones and signs when you get there, but just know it's an overflow parking lot, quarter of a mile south. We will have camping on site. They're making an exception for us to have camping where we're having it versus at the fairgrounds designated campgrounds. So a couple nice neighborly tips. Be sure to be respectful, good neighbors. We'll keep the noise down after dark. We're asking that nobody enter after 9 o'clock, just so you can be set up and ready to go by 10 o'clock, which is the Enumclaw city quiet hours. We also have a fire permit with Enumclaw, and they've requested that we do not have any kind of grills or propane fires under the easy-ups. They're a fire hazard.
Yeah, like a propane fire pit thing.
Yeah. Yep, just not under the easy-ups. So it's a little bit of an exception to the fire permit to allow those because they are very flammable. So that's what they're asking for. Enumclaw is also not charging us a camping fee, which is another exception they made for us, but we will still have the $10 gate fee per person coming in. So children under 10 do not have to pay. Everyone else, it's $10 cash at the gate. We'll have someone there to collect. So just a few little different things, but overall that part should be really fun. It is a grass course, which is sort of your traditional rallycross course, which we don't really do. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so with the grass field, we can't bring in a heavy equipment to move around the dirt a lot because we'll just take the grass with it. So we will be using a drag, but moreover, during the runs, we will be moving some of the elements, some of the corners, a little bit to adjust for ruts that are developing. So we'll do our best to let you guys know about that, where they are and which ones that we've had to move. Also, be aware that grass is pretty slippery, especially if it's wet at all or even something like dew. So when you're working the course, make sure you stand back a little further. Expect cars, when they get, out of ways, they're gonna slide for a little bit. So be aware of that, make sure that you're paying attention. Also, due to the fact of the way the course will degrade a little bit and we have to make do with that, what we'll do is we're going to run the course in reverse for the PM group. We'll make a couple changes during the lunchtime, and then you can walk the course. I would say that if you run in the afternoon, I wouldn't bother walking the course in the morning. The only thing it's going to tell you is, that there's grass out there. So, take your time to walk it in the afternoon. Just get yourself all ready to go so you have that opportunity to do that. Also, with the grass, go ahead.
We slotted in an extra 30 minutes after lunch to allow you course walking time. We don't normally do that, but because there will be a different course walk. So again, in your driver competitor email in your inbox, there's a schedule and you'll see that time, but there's also run groups. So if you're in that afternoon run group, just plan ahead and know you'll pass tech in the morning, but you'll course walk at the end of the lunch break.
Yeah, so also with being a grass surface, if you have a grass or a mud tire, that's probably your best option for the surface. I would at least bring it so that you have it available as an option.
Yeah. If you've been watching the weather forecast in Enumclaw leading up to the event, race weekend should actually be pretty nice. It's going to be partly sunny, but do not let that fool you. There's been some heavy rain down there, and we'll probably have a few days of rain leading up to the event. So come prepared with some mud gear. So when you're out doing your coursework assignment, you'll probably want to be wearing rubber boots, have a change of socks, have a change of shoes. maybe even a change of pants if you get a little muddy or something out there. You don't want to have to, like you're doing your work assignment in the morning and you get a little muddy, you don't want to have to race in like wet socks or something like that. So just come prepared, even though the weather's going to be sunny, it can be a little misleading. And then the last thing are just our COVID-19 health protocols. If you've been racing with us this year, they're kind of old news at this point, but we're going to talk about them anyway. You must wear a mask at all times unless you're in your car. When you're in your car, still have a mask with you so that when you hop out of your car, you can easily put it on. Would you like to model? These two bandanas are really great. They're buffs, whatever you call them. They're great to just put around your neck. You can pull your helmet on and off really easily and then just pop it on when you hop out of the car. So make it easy on yourself, but please always have that with you. You need to have a mask in order to enter the property. You also need to sign the digital waiver in advance before you enter the property. That actually needs to be signed by Wednesday, October 14th, so that we can have that list done in advance. Again, that's another thing that's in your driver email. When you're at the event, keep 6 feet from anyone who did not come with you who does not live in your household. So you may come with household members, but no other spectators are allowed. So when you're there chatting with your friends in the pit or the paddock, grid, whatever it might be sure they're 6 feet and you have your masks on. And there are no ride-alongs unless, again, it's someone who came with you from your household. We just want to be sure that we're abiding by all the health department rules so that we are good stewards for the Enumclaw Expo Center and so that we can keep having events throughout the remainder of this year.
That's right.
That's right. So that's everything you need to know. As always, you can contact us with questions. And now we can get to the regular drivers meeting. Here is what you can expect for race day. Once you are through the gate, you will set up your paddock area. Think of paddock as like your home base. You'll unload your car, you'll set out your tent, your easy up, whatever you have going on, and you're gonna get your car ready for tech inspection.
Yeah, so at tech inspection, what they're going to do is they are going to make sure, first of all, that wheel bearings, ball joints aren't loose. They're going to come around. They're going to shake all 4 of your wheels, see if it clunks back and forth. They're going to ask you to show us that you have good pedal pressure on your brakes. They're going to want to also check on the cars that aren't drive-by-wire that you have a good throttle return. And then they're also going to want to make sure that your battery is secure in the vehicle. While they're at it, they're going to make sure that you have all the appropriate stickers and numbers on the vehicle, as well as that you don't have any loose cassettes kicking around in your car or records.
8-track?
Or maybe an 8-track or 2 in there. No, seriously, just make sure everything's out of the car, and we don't want any coffee cups kicking around in there or anything like that, because I will tell you, if you have anything in your car, as soon as you go in for the first corner, it's going to end up right under your brake pedal.
There's like a magnet under there.
That's right.
Once you're through tech inspection, you'll go check in. We will verify your number, check that you are a valid driver, and we'll make sure you have a timing card, an RFID card. Mm-hmm. That's a great time to then park your car back at paddock and go walk the course. Walking the course is a chance to see it, to take it in at a slow speed before you start racing. So walk the course as many times as you can to set yourself up for success for race day. Every race is a work-run format. You will race part of the day and you work part of the day. Generally, you're out on course shagging cones, picking them up, making radio calls, whatever it might be. We will cover that. But just be prepared for racing and for standing out in the elements. Mm-hmm. Your time over the course of the day is tracked. You will get multiple runs on the same course, and we score you cumulatively. So the lowest time overall in class takes home the hardware.
And to answer the question before it's asked, there will be no dropped runs.
No dropped runs.
All of them count.
Yep. So that is what you can expect. We have some general safety procedures we'd like you to follow the whole day.
Yep, so general safety, no guns, no drugs, no alcohol, no cell phones in the vehicle that aren't secure. I do not want passengers holding the cell phones. If the passenger and driver holds the cell phone, I really hope drivers don't do that. Yeah. But if we see somebody holding a cell phone in the car, it will be a red flag. You will be given a DNF and asked not to do it again. Also, we need the windows up wherever there's a person, so on the driver's side. If there is a passenger, in the passenger side, the passenger window has to be up, back windows can be down, and it needs to be up enough that we can't fit 2 fingers through it, meaning that you get 1 inch of window cracked, and that's it. When you pull up to the start line, you're ready to go, please have your helmet on, please have your seat belts on, please have your windows rolled up, please have your cigarettes extinguished, make sure your seat belt's tight, the strap on your helmet is tight, and you're ready to go. Okay?
Now you mentioned a red flag. Let's talk about that.
Red flag procedure as it pertains to drivers. If you see a red flag, we want you to come to a stop as quickly as you can safely. We do not need you to lock all 4 wheels and go skidding off the course. We need you to get stopped in a controlled manner and just sit and wait. A course worker will come up to your car. They will inform you as to what we ask you to do. Usually it's either turn around, go straight back to start, or it is drive the course at parade lap speed and then get directed at finish. Red flags can happen for all kinds of reasons. You could have a flat tire, or a vehicle ahead of you is disabled or stuck on course, or maybe your car is on fire and you don't know it. Nevertheless, please come to a stop. If you pass 2 red flags, that will earn you a little chat with me. If you pass 3 red flags, you are deemed DNF for that run. So please pay attention. Don't just have the red mist focused on a very small spot. Please be aware when course workers are waving red flags at you.
So if the red flag is aimed at you because you have a D-bead where the tire is knocked off the rim, what do you get to do?
So D-bead, there's 1 free D-bead. In that process, you will have an opportunity, 10 minutes, to change it and get back out to course. You get a second D-bead. You will also be red flagged. We red flag you for a D-bead because the car is already listing to one side, and that rim can dig in and create a rollover situation. And additionally, we don't usually want you driving across our finish hose with a tire that's not on a rim. It's a good way to just cut the hose. So we will red flag you. Second D-bead is a DNF. Third, fourth, fifth, so on are DNFs. So make sure that you have appropriate pressure in your tires before you get out there.
And that same 10-minute break you get, you could take it for another reason. You don't have to wait for a D-bead. Let's say something breaks on the car. You just decide you want to change your tires just because.
Yep.
You get 10 minutes.
You just need a mental moment, whatever it takes.
In order to take your 10 minutes, you must let either someone in grid or someone at timing know. We will start a timer as soon as it is your turn at the line, and that is when your 10 minutes start.
Yes.
If you fail to notify someone and you take a 10-minute break, you get a DNF if you're not at the line when it's your turn to start. We just don't know where you are.
Correct. So when you do ask for that 10 minutes, please make sure that you talk to somebody in grid or registration. Make sure they understand you are taking your 10 minutes. I see quite a few people are flustered about something. They run up, I'm taking my 10 minutes, run away. Maybe somebody heard them, maybe somebody didn't. Make sure, hey, taking my 10 minutes. Make sure they understand and acknowledge. Your 10 minutes starts from when you're supposed to be at the start line, 25 seconds after that. Your 10 minutes starts. So we will take notice when the next car goes up, when that car is sent, that is when your 10 minutes will start on the clock. And you have 10 minutes to get back, let them know that you're there, and at which point we will fit you in as soon as we conveniently can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's talk about course working.
Yes.
Part of your day will be out on the course. Generally, you'll be shagging cones. When you're out there, you are required to wear an orange vest. Please don't wear a yellow vest. That is the color we give our media people.
Yes.
You need to be on your feet at all times when cars are hot. If we take a tractor break or a watering break, we'll let you know, give you a chance. You can take a little break yourself.
Yes.
No phones out on course and no cameras. So we want you to have your eyes on the cars at all times. And they're often coming pretty close together. So you watch one go by, you quickly turn, watch the next one go by. It's very important for your safety and for everyone else's safety. You will have a captain at your corner station who will have a radio and a red flag. They have a couple jobs. First job is making sure that the corner is covered. They'll tell you where to stand, what cones you're responsible for, and they'll coordinate with the other corners to make sure that all the cones are covered throughout the course. They're also responsible for the radio. So if you see a driver hit a cone, you'll run out, you'll put it back where it was, and you'll signal to them that they hit a cone. It's your job for the cones in your section that you know exactly where they were and you put them back exactly in the right place. So you have a couple tricks for making sure that cones get back in the right spot. What are they?
I do. So on the slaloms, what I would do is I would pace them out so you know how many paces apart they're supposed to be. And then I often try and find something like maybe a few rocks, and I line them up in a row directly in line with the cone so that I know I'm getting it in an appropriate position, side to side, front to back. And because it's really hard, you know, you autocross, they draw chalk around it, knock the cone, you have the chalk. You know, we could scribe a line, but as soon as they hit it, it wipes it away. So it's really important that these cones do get back into their appropriate place, just as you would want them put back in their appropriate place when it's your turn to run.
Let's talk a little bit about when things don't go quite right. For example, you were watching a car go by, you turn around and you see a cone down. You think the car that just went by hit it, but you didn't see it happen. Do not call it in. Just put it back. If you don't see the car hit it, don't call it. We want to be sure we're being extra fair, and that is why it's just as important to keep your eyes on the cars at all times. Sometimes things go a little sideways. Just get that cone back in the right spot and watch for it for next time. Same thing if a cone goes down and you don't feel like you can safely get to it before the next car comes, don't. Just leave it, let the car go by, and then reset it. If it's a consistent issue throughout the day, let your captain know. They can radio in that maybe we need a longer gap before the next car. That's totally fine. If you're a driver and you come upon a cone that is down on course.
Yeah, if you're a driver, or even if you're working course and there's a cone down and the driver sees it and the driver stops by that cone and acknowledges that that cone was down, at which point you need to radio to us that there was a cone down, the driver, signaled, and what happens at that point is that driver will get a rerun. If that driver drives past that cone and finishes course, then that run counts. They only get the rerun if they stop on course and acknowledge that that cone is out of position. Additionally, if you do put a cone out of position and it's way out of position and a driver recognizes it, just acknowledge it. It's okay, people make mistakes. Some drivers know exactly where every cone is, and if you shift that cone, they will know. And if they call it out and it actually is out of place, that we will give them a rerun. Now, if you stop and that cone isn't out of place, that gets you a DNF. So just make sure before you try to decide you're going to stop and gain an advantage that you better be sure.
Yeah, but if there's a cone obviously down on course, stop,
Yes.
point at it, let the course captain know, and
Yes.
they'll red flag and
Yes.
radio it in.
Yes. So let's also talk about red flag. Red flag procedure for workers. So your captain should have their radio in their hand. They also should have the red flag in their hand at all times. The captain really shouldn't be shagging cones. They should be watching over, getting ready to make all the calls, being aware of what's going on in case there is a red flag. If you see a car catching another car, you should wave the red flag. Let us know that what's happening as well. Like if there's a car that is disabled, going slow, and another car is coming hot behind it, wave that red flag. If you see a D-bead, wave the red flag. If we call over the radio, red flag, red flag, red flag, that means everybody should be waving a red flag immediately. Let's make sure that doesn't mean that we're running back, grabbing the red flag and then waving it. We should be waving it immediately because we have it in our hands. Now, we may call COM 5, 6, and 7 red flag. We'll repeat it a couple times, and that means that we just want the comms that we called 5, 6, and 7 waving the red flag. We don't want 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 doing, or 1, 2, 3, and 4 doing it, just the ones that we asked for. And sometimes we do that just so that we can complete a run without, disturbing that time, yet we can safely stop a car out on course.
Yep. Okay, enough of course things. A couple final notes. One, we always have Wi-Fi on site. You can connect to the Wi-Fi, see your times, see the scores, see your place in class. We always have instructions posted for you to do that. They're there at timing. At the end of the day, please be sure to clean up after yourselves. We always want to leave the venues better than we found them, so they invite us back.
Yep.
Be sure to drive slow, be a good steward of the sport, pop into the local grocery store, mini mart, buy some food on your way out. Be sure to support the community.
Yeah, just to add to that, if you see garbage out there on course and it's not your garbage, it's never our garbage because we always pick up after ourselves. But if somebody else's garbage, let's pick it up.
Yeah.
Let's leave these venues cleaner than we get it. Let's have the guys who run the venues come in after us and be like, oh wow, I remember there was a bunch of garbage out here, now it's all gone. Let's just pick it up. We have the buckets. You can throw your cans and bottles and whatever in the buckets, and then bring it in at the end of your shift and, throw it all away, or just, make sure we clean up. And let's make sure that, we take care of the area around us, that we don't go ripping off at the end of races.
Yep. If you have any questions leading up to the race, email us at info@nwrallyassociation.com. We respond pretty quickly there. Now keep in mind, during race week, we're a little busy. Please try and get your questions in advance. If they're urgent, just know you're going to get a little bit slower of a response. But you guys are watching this video well in advance of the event because you are responsible, so I don't see that being an issue.
That's right. Rallycross courses are delineated by cones. A gate is 2 cones wide enough apart for a car to go through. Or you can have an upright cone with a pointer cone. If you have a pointer cone, you must go around this side of the pointer or you incur a 10-second penalty. If a cone is knocked over, it is a 2-second penalty. If a cone is knocked out of the box but stays upright, it is also a 2-second penalty. This is a double gate. Penalties are double for missing this element. Each cone is worth 2 seconds, but if you miss this gate, that's 20 seconds. This is an optional slalom. You can enter the slalom on this side, or you can enter on this side, but you must alternate sides for each subsequent cone. If the slalom has a pointer at the beginning, then the slalom is non-optional, and you must enter the slalom this side of the pointer, or you'll incur a 10-second penalty for each missed gate. Hand signals can be an easy way of communicating with your comm captains. If you come across a cone that's knocked over, make an X with your arms like this. If it has moved but stayed inside of its box, make a safe gesture like this. But remember to reset the cone in its original position.